neglected my Instagram forever.
Do you want a different? Oh, there we go, and we are live. What's
Hey,
up, Luke?
rock and roll.
So, do we need to correct
Man.
that?
I mean, at some point, not necessarily right now, but
Okay.
it
I
would
thought
probably
I
make
looked
sense.
at that. I thought I double checked that, but we'll go on that. So,
I think I have two of them. I had like a business one, and then like a personal, and then yeah, I don't know how that.
all right, everyone. So, if you're watching this, yeah, it is R. It is Luke R. Darling. Luke is a darling. Luke R. Darling.
Arr.
It's like a pirate. So it's been a minute since we've
Yeah.
talked. You know, life gets in the way, and it's sometimes really difficult to synchronize schedules. I'm going to go ahead and try and fix this while we're on the fly. See how that works out for us. But how you been? What's
Doing
cooking in
good,
your
man.
world?
Oh man, had spring break, so that's always a good time of year to shake things up. Hence the missing the having a jumbled schedule for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, our spring
Doing
break isn't
great.
until next year. There we
Wait a
go.
minute.
See, we fixed it.
Hey, what do you mean it's not till next year?
Sorry, next week.
Okay,
I
I
was
was like, wait,
But
is
we
there
do have
still
spring
the
break
every
next
other
year. We
plan?
do have spring break next year. So that's a positive thing.
Is this a new California thing where
Probably.
like
And
you get
somehow
an
it's going to
extra
cost us more money in
right?
taxes. So when we were speaking last, and I've been meaning to really connect with you on this, you've turned into quite the coder, not a coder developer with these different apps, and we did kind of a demo the last time that
Yeah.
we met, and I wanted to revisit that simply because of the fact that I do have a few projects that I would like to explore. One of them is just tracking activities. You know, an agent
Yeah.
uh, tracking their outreach, tracking
Okay.
their dials, tracking their contacts, tracking their role play, just tracking activities. And so I wanted to take this time, if you don't mind, and just walk back through, share what are the programs that you were talking about, because I wrote them down somewhere and I don't know where I put them.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So I think the main one or the one that we jumped into last time was lovable.dev. So the tech stack that I've been using primarily is a combination of lovable.dev. It's just got a really simple, easy user interface to get going, and then also Cursor. So Cursor's probably like the next tier up, so to speak, in regards to um, coding. It's same concept, but the lovable.dev is definitely more um, beginner friendly, so to speak, in my opinion, just for I mean how my brain works. So
And you're using both of them?
yeah, so
What's Cursor?
um,
Cursor dot what? Here, I'm just going to go ahead and
uh,
share the screen.
yeah, Cursor. It's Cursor something. It's this
Here, I'll just
lovable's
do
web based, and the Cursor one is actually
Cursor AI, augment code, that one.
yeah. No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Maybe.
Cursor uh, coding. I'll just do that. Just Google that. Cursor, the AI code editor. There you go. Cursor.com. Boy, there's a
There you
novel
go.
idea. Let's just name it what it is. So you're using Lovable, which is easier to use. So I'm going to check that out. And Cursor. Now, what I'm looking to do is A, have a login screen. B,
Hmm.
allow people to track their own metrics. So there'll be a page where they can just mark their predefined activities.
Yeah.
C, they're going to be able to see a cumulative effect. So it'll calculate where they're at on the daily, weekly, monthly, track them against their goals. But then also for me, being able to look at it from a hierarchy standpoint and look at a leaderboard, maybe even create a leaderboard to see where people lead.
Yeah.
It'll do that. I can kind of work with it to do that.
For sure. So what I would probably suggest to start out with is to pop over to like ChatGPT or your current AI of choice.
I have a bunch of them.
Okay. So nice. You're using the folders. So what I would suggest is start out with asking it to write you a PDR, which is a product development requirement, and just in literal like plain English, like tell it what you want it to do. So just kind of
create a login page. I'm going to do this later. I don't want to take up our whole time on this.
Start from a higher level. Like
okay.
Hey, I want to
like concept form.
Concept. And I give it a whirl, man. We could literally have like an MVP while we're here in the next 20 minutes.
Really? What's an MVP?
Yeah. Minimum viable product.
Oh. I was thinking most valuable player.
Yeah.
Minimum viable product. Okay, and a PDR is what?
Product development requirements. So basically, you're going to have ChatGPT write out what you want it to be. Like it will do it all for you. So it'll start out with like a project overview, core objectives, like feature breakdown and functionality. So it'll break it all down for you. Then literally just take that and pop that into Lovable.
All right. Well, let's I don't know, may as well. Let's work that through. So let me go into screen share again. Okay, write a PDR. I would like to have a activity tracker for real estate agents to track all of their lead generation activities. And what I just start with, I could probably go back and change it later, including
you can workshop it as you go.
We'll just go traditional stuff, including cold outreach, cold and warm outreach, including how many dials they make, how many answers, how many contacts, how many appointments set, how many appointments completed, how many listings taken. Something like that?
Yep, perfect.
I need a logon screen for each individual agent. They need to be able to set their goals, daily contact goals, just daily goals, see what happens, and see a cumulative of their activities. And I'll just start with that.
Don't forget your leaderboard.
Oh, look at that. So one of the things I did while it's punching this out, we'll talk about this, is I had a Mac Mini running the system, and it got a little bit choppy, right? But
Yeah.
I also have a MacBook Pro M3 with 16 gigabytes of RAM. And so what I ended up doing is I modified my setup to go through a docking station, a one-cord docking station. So all I have to do is, because it's a laptop, all I have to do is plug in one cord and I get my whole setup.
Yeah.
And when I travel, I just unplug the cord and I go.
Yes.
But I actually have two MacBooks, an older one. And so my whole external setup at home is configured to plug in one cord into really any type of laptop and be fully operational with very, very little software that I need. You know, MacBooks are configured to run up to 2 extra screens. I actually have 4. So I have, but one of them's extra wide. So
Yeah.
I have to have a software running on it as well to make it so I can do that. But for the most part, man, it's plug and play.
I love that. I have a very similar setup. I don't have 4 screens. I do have one big one, and that's seems to do the trick for me.
My big one is that I got a teleprompter screen. This was before Elgato actually created the product. So I have a 15-inch field monitor ran to an actual teleprompter. So I have an extra, one of my screens is what I'm looking at. So it's another computer monitor that I can drag and drop everything. So that's why it looks like I'm looking directly at you, is because I am.
Right.
I'm looking, and there's a slight light on. I just use a Logitech Brio
Yeah.
from my main cam, high definition, and so there's a light on there. So as long as I'm looking at the light, or right there around the light, it looks like I'm looking directly at you. And what I do is I put your face over the light, so I am actually looking right at you.
That's awesome.
But now you have Descript, so you don't need to look at anybody. You just take the recording, and you have AI fix it.
Right.
All right, let's go back over to the screen share. So dashboard overview, dials made. Okay. So this really gives me a good outline of what it's looking for. And so I can just go ahead and create a lot of different things on it. So did you have to create, look, platforms, responsive web app, mobile and desktop, optional native mobile. So I'm guessing that Lovable and Cursor creates the code, but it doesn't host it. So did you have to go and get some sort of hosting site to run all of this code?
It as well.
Oh,
On Lovable, they have a hosting, self-hosting, and then I believe on Cursor, it's different. You like self-host it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, grab that, copy that bad boy, pop it in.
I'm gonna tweak with it. I'm gonna play around with it. Before I.
Well, you can do that in Lovable too.
Oh, I can write the PDR in Lovable as well.
Yeah, well, what you do is you throw that in Lovable, and then you're like, this looks great. Can you add in X, Y, and Z?
Okay. Yeah, I want to put a little bit more thought behind it, and I just want to put a little bit. I have it drafted out on what I want. I just need to, put some more thought into it, and then I'll go into Lovable, and then I'll just update you the next time that we talk on, what we did.
Beautiful.
So the great thing is, for those watching, is Luke is not a developer by trade, and he stumbled upon these various different AI tools that has helped him create various different products. My guess is that this will actually help us configure like make.com and Zapier. Remember how challenging that was to make Zapier work and make.com work? I'm guessing that it will help connect those API tools into various different tools as well.
there's a lot of things that you can do. Typically, if you have, let's say you have some sort of like process that you're doing, like you're tracking your people and you want to push and pull information. So rather than having to connect, make, or or Zapier, you can just self-host API keys and stuff like that, and just you can have your own internal operation running.
So have you gotten away from Zapier then?
There's use cases where I still use it.
Well, you're so deep into that. That'd be a lot of headache
Yeah.
for you to unravel all of that and try to remember all the connections, the veins and the arteries and
Yeah, and there's some things that just work really well on it, that just rather not mess with. So another thing that I have been using is N8N, which is which this
N8N. That's like three letters.
N8N, yeah. And that actually,
So spell that for me. N8N.
yeah, Nancy 8.
Or just it's three letters.
Yeah.
The IO, I guess. This one.
Yeah.
Build precision code and speed, drag and drop, host with premium control. Oh, so this is like an artificially driven Zapier.
Yeah, you can connect your own like Anthropic, ChatGPT. You can so it's will host all of your data, your information, be able to pull from it. So it's like a combination of your AI and Zapier type stuff.
That's cool. I'll check that one out
Yeah.
too. I got to tell you, I read a thing on X yesterday, and Elon Musk says that, let me see if I can find it. He just talks about the development of AI, like in a year, it's going to be smarter than a human. In like 2 years, it's going to be, let me see where it's at. In fact, I'll just ask Grok.
You mean it's not smarter than humans already?
It was on X, so I went to Grok.
His did you read the story about his like the undertaking that he did to roll out their
No.
AI?
No.
Insane story. Like if you have a moment,
I got a moment. I'm fascinated by.
I highly encourage you to go check it out. Like the undertaking that he did, and it was a matter of like, I want to say it was a matter of like 19 days that he just superhuman, like the troubleshooting that they went from finding a location to building out the data center, like the capacity that it needed to use, like the cooling everything, just fascinating. Like the speed to execution on what they were able to pull off is just like next level.
Well, I remember that I saw a room on servers about NVIDIA servers or something like that, and they were saying that it'd take a year and a half, and he didn't like in a month.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. Exactly. It was like he's like, it'll be too late by then. Like these other companies will be, too ginormous and all consuming.
So he says that by 2030, AI will be, what does it say? AI will exceed all human intelligence combined. Like, in like 5 years.
Yeah.
And he was also saying that the advancements, it has helped with the rocket design for SpaceX, helps out medical. Anything that you can do it really, really just does expand it. But I read a thread, and I don't remember the exact statistics, but just the evolution of how fast it's moving. If you remember when you and I just like 2 years ago, where you and I were having a conversation about ChatGPT and that you had access and you were walking me through how I had access. Maybe it might have been a little bit longer than 2 years ago, but you see where it was then and where it's at now, and you look at how fast things are developing, it's mind-boggling. And now you have ChatGPT, you have Grok, which I really like Grok. There's some tools on ChatGPT that I like. I like the project folders. That's probably if Grok were to come out with project folders, I would probably use Grok almost exclusively. And it's getting there.
Right? Yeah, it's amazing like what a simple user interface does, because like I can't imagine using ChatGPT without folders now.
Yeah. Which, if you have the free version, you have no idea what we're talking about. You got to pay $20 a month to get the folders. But once Grok comes out with folders, and I bet you they will, once they come out with folders, I will be transitioning over that. They're a little bit more expensive, but I think the Super Grok is $30 a month, whereas ChatGPT is $20 a month. So we're not talking, per dollar. It's 33% more, but
right.
Not a big expense based on $20 to $30. I just like working with Grok more. You get clear and you get really, really clear answers. It's not playing the politically correct answer, and I think that's what I like about it.
Absolutely, I'm all for that. Some points too on that I feel like it has a significant advantage. I mean, it has real-time information from being able to pull from Twitter or X, right? Non-stop, all day, every day, input.
Yeah.
For free. Like there's no effort needed to continue to pump information into it. And then also from like a sales and marketing standpoint, like it's hard to create compelling copy and writing in like 140 characters. So people have to work and think pretty hard on like what they put in to that. So it's like the structure and framework that it has also being fed into it from like a marketing standpoint. It's I feel it has a significant advantage there as well.
I'm super surprised at how, well, maybe not. As I'm starting to vocalize it, I'm probably not as surprised. I was going to say I'm really surprised at how many professionals have not adopted the use of AI, specifically talking about real estate agent and loan officers. But then when you throw into the age, and the average age of a real estate agent 60, and then you take into consideration that a lot of them don't really understand how to use their phone or computer, I think there's a learning curve to that. They didn't adopt to the learning curve on the phone, and so now we're just keep going further and further and further. Look, I still get questions from people on how to use hashtags on social media, and they have, the things that they're using AI for is such 2 years ago. It's like I want it to help me draft a property description.
Right.
Now it'll actually develop out a whole marketing plan for you. It'll do research on the most likely person to purchase a house, where the best place is to go after. There's so much information that this can come up to. It'll feed and learn your voice, so it'll punch out various different creatives where you probably just you're like, oh my gosh, did I write this? So there's a lot of stuff look, we're talking about coding.
Right.
I think what's interesting, I did read an article about the junior coders, is that AI is eliminating all these junior coders, and they're also going to be eliminating probably a lot of these junior attorneys who are typically junior attorneys are the ones who are creating the drafts of certain things. Well, now you have AI to create that, which is interesting because ultimately those senior litigators, it's a skill, it's an art. You have to learn how or that, but if you're going to be leveraging AI and those junior people aren't learning the skills to be a senior person, what's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah.
Same thing with real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, will be, some pretty remarkable changes to things. I read something the other day, and it was pretty interesting, and it was a therapist actually that just had their AI up during their session, so it was taking notes and doing summaries, assessments, like all this stuff, and being able to track individuals over a course of time. And one of the things that they mentioned after the fact, like on it, they're like, it was their opinion. It would be like literal malpractice to not use it in the future.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and they were that sold on having that as a tool in their business, that they're like, in the future, I will feel like it will be malpractice to not have it.
Well, and I can see the whole point in that. I took my blood test. I keep a record of all my blood tests. I think I shared this story with you.
Yeah.
I got a nurse practitioner who called me, who left a message for me using the wrong first name. She called me Matt, not Brett, and then just gave a 30-second, really high level of this. Well, I just took it into, I think I used ChatGPT. I should use Grok on the deep think, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to take my last year blood test, this year's blood test. I'm going to feed it into Grok. I'm going to use it to evaluate it as if Gary Brecka was looking at it, and have them analyze my blood.
Yeah. I like
you know
that.
who Gary Brecka is?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to tell you, the information age is changing everything.
Yeah. At a rapid rate.
And I love how
the distribution of it.
And the access to information unfiltered without having a biased opinion overlaid onto it is really great.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know. I listened to a thing from Gary Brecka that your cholesterol in like the 1960s, and I don't remember the exact number, it was normal to be in like the 220 north range. That by itself does not cause heart disease. Right. But now it's really low, down to like 150, and it has all these cursors. So I'm fascinated by a lot of this stuff.
Likewise.
Well, look, we are at 28 minutes, so I guess today was just more of a catch-up more than anything. I begin traveling again next week, but I'll be in for, I'm planning to be on here for Friday. But any parting words?
Let's get it.
Let's get it. All right. See you next week, Luke.
Rock and roll.
Bye.